Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. We have a lot of very good bullish news, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Ripple XRP's steady increase could be an indication or an ignition to the much anticipated rise of Bitcoin before the halving takes place. Bitcoin was in a consolidation phase recently and made a breakout from a triangle pattern towards the upside, being the top cryptocurrency by market cap, and owing to its huge popularity, Bitcoin USD is more volatile and liquid than most other cryptos. Noted. However, XRP to the US dollar is on a much more prominent uptrend than Bitcoin. Statistically, XRP rose more than 12% in the last 3 days. Several analysts are speculating that Ripple's incredible rise could pave the way for a much more significant rise in Bitcoin prices. There's the chart right there. It says, let us take a look at the hourly time frame XRP US dollar. XRP, I think, currently is around 21 cents, give or take a couple of uncents. For a long time, XRP was hovering around the 18 cents range. Here's something very fascinating that a lot of other people might not know, and if you've been here since 2017 or 2016, you know that this definitely takes place. What happens is, or what happens sometimes is, if Bitcoin appears to be stagnant, moving sideways, we see sometimes that XRP or Ethereum, it doesn't really happen with other coins. For some reason, it's just this magnetic hold amongst the top three. If Bitcoin is going sideways, Ethereum may one day shoot up by 12, 13, 14%. Bitcoin will also start to follow that uptrend as well, even if it had been trending completely sideways for the last couple of weeks. Same exact thing happens with XRP. If XRP, for some reason, at the moment, at least at the time of me making this video, and even last evening, I've been looking around, there's no significant crazy XRP news. Maybe something has happened behind the scenes that we just simply don't know about. Maybe it was just time for a breakout in price. XRP goes up, and if it goes up too much, and I mean like if the movement upwards I think is too much for Bitcoin and Ether to kind of not care about anymore, they kind of moved up as well. Like, I forgot what I used to call this in 2018. It was kind of like a jealousy pump, because everyone expects XRP not to really perform very well or not do very well. But if XRP is going up by 12% even over the course of like not even 3 days, just a day, you'll see that there's also then a strong movement upwards from Ethereum or Bitcoin. If it happens amongst Bitcoin, then all the other markets as well tend to go up. But sometimes it's not often, but it does tend to happen. This has happened many other times before in the past, at least 3 other times, and it happened more so with Ethereum. If one of the other top 3 coins ends up moving upward, then therefore the rest of the market kind of follows, because Bitcoin, in a jealous rage, starts moving up as well. There are a lot of articles floating around that says XRP is surging. Here's how it could fuel Bitcoin's rally. This is logically, this is logic to me. And this is how I've looked at the market for a long amount of time. Do you remember in 2017 when XRP was around, I want to say 2 cents. It had just crossed the 1 cent line. It was around 2 cents, and people kept on saying, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. I remember the weeks that had passed every time that XRP had hit a new tenfold kind of thing. So to 10 cents and 20 cents and 30 cents, the price of Bitcoin would also spike because XRP was having these huge 100% upward weeks. But I think that also probably caused the price of Bitcoin to also move up as well. And it have my own speculations as to why. I don't know if it was XRP isn't supposed to show any dominance, and therefore Bitcoin had to go up in response to its moving up. Anyway, a large part of the cryptocurrency market is up right now. At the moment, we have no real indication as to why XRP is going up. But even then, on other days, we never really have a clear indication as to why Litecoin is going up, or why Lumens is going up, or why Tron is going up, or why, Binance Coin is always in the news, so it's kind of something else. Anyway, yeah, XRP is up past 21 cents. It's grown by 3 cents in the last couple of days. Let's see if that ends up continuing, tying nearly directly into what we were just talking about. Crypto analyst Nicholas Merton says he believes Bitcoin is poised for another major move to the upside. In a new episode of Data Dash, Merton, who uses the weekly chart of the Bitcoin to USD pair to mark key trend lines and get a picture of where the price is likely heading in the short term, the crypto strategist says that the leading cryptocurrency will likely continue printing green candles in the weeks ahead. Merton expects Bitcoin to maintain its bullish momentum and trend towards $9,000 as Bitcoin continues to form a giant wedge that dates back to the second half of 2017. You may have noticed over the last couple of, it's been at least 2 weeks. It's a solid 2 weeks. The momentum or the energy behind Bitcoin has grown substantially. I am very hard pressed now to find articles that are talking about anything negative about Bitcoin. I see some here and there that talk about that Bitcoin looks like it's going to have a major upswing. And then at the same time, at the end of the article, they make sure to release information or announce that, however, after all of that ends up happening, that we could then see some momentum downwards as the bulls have gotten too hot or the pan is too hot or whatever kind of words they end up using. A lot of it is extremely bullish, especially even if you look at the actual this chart right here. It's incredible. It's the timing just almost couldn't be better, especially as the halving is now, I think it's 12 days away or something like that. It says, but the strategist points out that Bitcoin's signature volatility is going nowhere to be expected. It's likely that as we go into the halving event, sure, we are going to see an increase in volatility. It's an important point to keep in mind. We are going definitely to see a lot of jitter, but I think we're going to continue this trend up here and it's going to pick up momentum, and we are going into the halving event to where we're probably going to be around $9,000 into the $9,000 range, if not the upper $8,000 range. Bitcoin is trading at 7,800. I think it's 7,900 right now. I think we're actually very close to Bitcoin trying to hit 8,000. My friends, it's funny. Hello to you. My friend sent me a text as I was looking at the actual prices of where everything is going. I think Ethereum has popped over 200, XRP is at 21 cents, and Bitcoin is like scratching at the surface over and over trying to hit 8,000. I can only assume what's actually happening on cryptocurrency exchanges as all these whales just don't want Bitcoin to pop up or waiting for it to pop up, whatever the case might actually be. Anyway, this is every day we keep getting this news, and I'm not sure if it's just having hype. I'm not sure if it's just anticipation of a bull rally. I'm not sure if it's just the technical analysis finally working its magic and we're seeing all of these things finally come together as far as what could potentially then happen to Bitcoin during the halving, as the halving is happening, or after the halving. However, it's quite nice to be a part of, I will dare say. Same exact thing. It says indicator shows Bitcoin is on the brink of an historic bull rally. We've had that from, I think it's been about every single day. There's been some other analyst, some other person who left Wall Street, some other person who's been in crypto for a couple of years. All their charts say the exact same thing. It's just a matter of how big this bull rally will be. Because all the numbers are pointing to something big, but it's just a matter of how big. Are we on our way to a $21,000 Bitcoin and then we kind of slink back down? Are we on our way to a $35,000 Bitcoin? Are we on our way to a $49,999 Bitcoin, which is not allowing us to hit that $1 trillion market cap? Are we on our way to the $250,000 that people are saying is going to happen by the end of next year, if not the very beginning of 2020? Who knows? But it is something to note. Remember before when I kept on saying, all the times we had all that negative news, it's not really there anymore. And for some reason, everyone's charts are showing that we are on the cusp, apparently, of something huge and major. It is, if nothing else, it's very exciting. I think it's just exciting. I can't even figure out other words to kind of really say about it. I've thought that the prices of cryptocurrencies have been far depressed for a very long time. With the actual usage of Bitcoin around the world, it's insane how low that the prices are currently right now. That's not financial advice. It's just me kind of saying, logically, look at the actual usage of it and all the integration that's been happening and all the payment services and methods and everything that's been happening last 2 months and the printing of trillions of dollars. It's kind of a no-brainer. But yeah, that's the Bitcoin news. And this one says Ethereum's price has majestically extended the bullish action above the coveted $200 level following a consolidation above the support at $192. The price action follows last week's recovery from another support at $170. At the moment, Ether is valued at around $206. Yeah, I think that's exactly where it is. I think 206, 204. Amid a building bullish momentum, the volatility is expected to continue in the course of the European session. It is apparent that buyers are now shifting their attention on higher levels at $220 and $250 respectively. I always think it's kind of funny when a lot of articles make sure to mention that volatility is going to continue. Of course, it's crypto. All we know is volatility. It's just part of the market. It's to be expected. If you are new here or relatively new here, get ready for some of the most trying days of your life. That is not even half a joke. If we end up having a bull anything, if Bitcoin shows within the next 3 weeks that is trying to move from 7,900 to around 9,500, you're going to have a lot of difficult days ahead, because it's going to be, you're going to wake up super excited one day. By the time you go to bed, you're going to be very sad. You'll wake up and check your phone and you'll be super happy. By lunch, you'll be kind of sad because prices are back down. We're going to have some of the, we've already seen increased volatility in the market just because of the actual pickup of interest within the cryptocurrency space. The amount of people who are buying more, the amount of people who are speculating more, the amount of people who are anticipating something big to happen, the amount of people who are potentially putting in sell orders because they're anticipating something to kind of fall back down, the people who are trading actively every day already back and forth to trying to make normal day trading money on crypto. It is insane. If we end up seeing any kind of potential, maybe sort of push to a $10,000 Bitcoin, and Ethereum looks like it's trying to go to $250, if not $300 in anticipation of what's supposed to happen in July, get ready, because it's going to get real really fast. And this will be this will let you know if you're meant to be within the cryptocurrency market. And I mean this really, because it's not for everyone. I think crypto will be super easy, super fascinating, super whatever in about 10 to 15 years. You won't have to think about it. You'll have a savings account. You'll earn interest in Satoshis. You'll earn interest in a stablecoin. You'll earn this, so and so. And so you have your retirement account that'll do it automatically and invest in cryptocurrencies. The prices will be relatively stable. They may only go up by 4, 5, 6, 7% a year, the entire year. Crazy. However, right now, we're not in that world. We're in a world where market makers and people are trying to get Bitcoin's price back above 20,000 US dollars. We are going to have the issuance rate of Bitcoin completely cut in half. We are having rumors and stuff like that going around that Ethereum's block reward is going to be cut from 2 to 0.6 within the next 2 months, which is then causing a lot of other people to also try and acquire as many Ethereum as they possibly can to be able to stake by themselves, which is then also another way to make passive income. We're getting these crazy. I refuse to talk about the actual price predictions for Ethereum and other coins anymore, because they just seem completely out there. And also, but people fighting in the comment section about the price predictions I gave before about Ethereum, not like a year or two ago, but I mean a couple of weeks ago, as far as the $4,000 Ethereum. One could say it's logical. If we hit 1,400 before, that we're probably going to hit 4,000 within the next 5 years per Ethereum. But yeah, it is very fascinating. Everything seems to be, it's almost like, what's the saying? If you look at the pot, it won't boil or something like that. But we can see that it's boiling, and we see that the water level is already too high, but it's just kind of not going over the sides. That was terrible, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's clear that the energy and the momentum is kind of there. It's just everyone's waiting for this this pop to kind of happen. And it looks like we have a couple of things that could cause everything to go off. Anyway, yeah, the market's up, XRP's up. And it looks like Bitcoin within the next couple of hours at least is going to try and pass by $8,000 if it does that, because I keep seeing the $8,000 number as a not a level of resistance, but it's like a mental blockage level that we need to pass in order to be able to kind of go higher. Sky's the limit, in my opinion. Anyway, yeah, that's that news. Let's move on. Next up, in news that was everywhere news, In a fresh move to revive Facebook's backed digital currency project Libra, the Libra Association has onboarded another member. British payment startup Checkout.com has joined the Libra Association, becoming the 24th member engaged with the mission on building a better global payment network, Libra tweeted on the 28th of April. Guillaume Poussaz, Checkout.com's founder and CEO, officially announced the news in a company statement on Tuesday. The executive outlined that Checkout joins Libra's efforts to not only promote technological advancement, but contribute to the formation of necessary regulatory framework to drive mass adoption of better payment solutions. Sure. Poussaz argued that without such regulation framework, the technological breakout is, oh yeah, it is though. It definitely is. He argued that the technological breakthrough is not possible. He said regulation should form an integral part of any resulting framework, given its unique ability to protect the ecosystem from systemic abuses. Absent of such regulation, it is our fundamental belief that the technological advancements alone would fail to provide the secure and stable payments infrastructure required to drive mass adoption, impeding its progress. Impeding. It says impeding. This person has never heard of Bitcoin. I don't think he knows what a blockchain is. The news being that another company has joined Libra. This is kind of everywhere because the news that we had a couple of weeks ago was that Libra was basically finito. That apparently all the stuff that was going on, that Libra, not that they had abandoned the Libra token, it was more so that they were taking a more so of a shift towards the stablecoin kind of market because they were told to do so by regulators. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, this was kind of all over the place. I wonder what this will look like. I feel like it will definitely be able to, is the word rival? Things like PayPal and other payment services simply because of the reach that they'll be able to have. But it almost feels like a Hydra or like a Medusa, like tons of little arms and legs kind of all over the place as they try and like grab what food they can to kind of remain relevant. Not to, talk down about it, but it's just kind of this like, it just feels like a monstrosity at this point that they're just trying to kind of piece together to see if it can actually work and get off the ground. Anyway, yeah, Libra has a new member, and sure, good luck to them in what they do. Next up, Weiss Ratings is in the news recently. Dr. Martin Weiss, the founder of Weiss Ratings, the only financial rating agency that grades crypto assets, I assume I give it by the end of this year, we'll probably have at least 3. If there's any kind of rally in prices, we are going to have a couple of other companies who are going to trip over themselves to be able to give us cryptocurrency ratings because it's going to be a major market. People who are trying to get into the market, they're going to want to know can you imagine Bitcoin at $50,000? Isn't that weird to think about? Like even just like you would have to spend $5,000 to be able to get a tenth of a Bitcoin. Isn't that obscene to think about? Like right now, a tenth of a Bitcoin is $795. Can you imagine having to spend $10,000 to get 0.2 Bitcoin? Sorry for the tangent. I just thought about it because of all of the stuff we're talking about. The point being, yes, more companies, of course. The only financial rating agency that grades crypto assets, Dr. Weiss, spoke about the implications of Bitcoin's next halving, which is expected in less than 2 weeks for Bitcoin and other crypto assets. Weiss Ratings, which was founded in 1971, Dr. Weiss, such as Bitcoin and Ether, which are currently rated B+, on the 24th of January. The idea was to grade from A to F. Recently, Dr. Weiss spoke with Gavin Magor, who is the ratings director at Weiss Ratings, and about Bitcoin's next block halving event, which is expected to take place on the 12th of May. Here's what the block reward will happen. Every 10 minutes, a new block is mined. At the beginning of the halving, the reward for the block is going to be halved, 50% less Bitcoin. Block reward scheduled every 210,000 blocks, 21 million Bitcoin. You know the whole story. Bitcoin's block reward halving occurred on the 16th of July, 2016, which was when the block reward was reduced from 25 to 12.5 Bitcoin per block. During the interview, Dr. Weiss made two very interesting observations. He said, both previous Bitcoin halving events unleashed an historic market in cryptocurrencies, creating, now pay attention, I sent this to my friends as like a good morning text. I'm weird, I know, I don't care. Both previous Bitcoin halvings unleashed an historic bull market in cryptocurrencies, creating massive wealth for investors. For example, he says, even if you had invested $10,000 into Bitcoin on the date of Bitcoin's last or second halving event, you would have turned that 10,000 into more than 300,000 US dollars. Furthermore, he says that if you had at the same time invested in certain other crypto assets, such as Litecoin or Ether, your profits would have been even greater. He says you could have multiplied your money by 124 times. If we are on the cusp, the ledge, the beginning, entering the door to any other type of bull run like that, it's going to be insane. Do you know how much money people are going to make if we have any type of... This is why, for those of you who didn't get it, why there's so much energy. My neighbors are looking at me, flailing my arms. Why there's so much energy around this halving. It's not... I mean, it's about 50 different things. It's that Bitcoin is widely adopted. We know that banks and institutions are buying. There was barely anyone... Like, people were buying Bitcoin in 2016, but we didn't have banks and institutions and stock exchanges and governments and all this other stuff openly, actively talking about Bitcoin or buying up Bitcoin. There was not a huge, there was a rush for people to buy, but it wasn't anything like we currently have right now. If the other bull runs gave us 10,000 to three, you know how much money $300,000 is? You know how much 124 times your money into something is? That's obscene. That is completely insane. Now, then you even think a bit further. The main significance for me as far as this halving has been the actual, I don't want to say the stock to flow ratio, but it's that entire idea of 25 Bitcoin, 12.5, 6.25. That puts us below the inflation rate of every other major fiat currency on the planet. At the same exact time, they're printing trillions of dollars. We just had the news yesterday about Japan that they plan on quantitatively easing to infinity. They said as long as they have to, they're going to keep pumping money into the system. You cannot create new Bitcoin forever. We know that there's only a maximum amount of Bitcoin that there's going to be. We know that Jack Dorsey once a week is buying up $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, at least just on the app on his phone. There's such a huge amount of demand for Bitcoin in anticipation of what could possibly begin to happen that it's going to drive the entire market insane. Do you understand how popular Bitcoin is? Already popular. Bitcoin's already known worldwide. I even try it sometimes. If I meet new people, I'll mention the word Bitcoin. I'll mention blockchain. And they go, yeah, I know what that is. Everyone knows what it is. Everyone. My grandmother knows what Bitcoin is at this point. Everyone knows. Imagine for people, I'm getting so many people over the last, I was just talking about this. I'm getting so many people over the last 2-3 weeks. It's mimicking 2017 to a T. And this is kind of the craziest part for me because it's the same exact thing at the beginning of 2017 when prices were just kind of ticking up. Prices were just kind of moving up. People were still kind of like, oh yeah, it's going up, but it's going to go back down. Tons of people were asking me where to put their money, how to invest their money. The same exact friends, it's kind of weird. It's crazy. The same exact friends who I hadn't heard from since around 2014 started messaging me in 2017, not even half joking, about where to put their money. Is this app okay? Is this website okay? What's a mutual fund? How do they put their money into so-and-so? Have you heard about a Bitcoin? I'm thinking about putting some money into it. 2014 to 2017. It's 2020. I'm getting some of these same friends who I haven't heard from again in the last 3 years, not joking, messaging me once again, asking me, what's the safest place to buy cryptocurrencies? How do they put their money into the market? Should they be buying up stocks? Should they so-and-so and show? What's an ETF? I'm not joking. It's eerie. It's incredibly eerie how everything is kind of falling into place. Even the same exact thing. If you want to be completely, I'll tell you even what's even crazier. I got into buying art in 2016 because I was annoyed with the cryptocurrency market, that the market hadn't relatively moved over the last couple of years. I remember being angry for 3 years that the crypto market hadn't exploded because we kept on getting all this news about this amazing thing is going to happen, this is so-and-so going to happen. And I remember in 2016 when the Bitcoin mining reward had been cut in half, I remember sitting there like, wow, that's cool, that's amazing. And I started buying tons of art. By the beginning of 2017, even as prices were going up, I was still annoyed. I was like, they're not going up how I want them to. And I started putting tons of money into art. I was buying, I mean, an obscene amount of art. Do you want to know what's really weird about all of that stuff? That was 2016, 2017. At the end of last year, I told myself, I was like, if the crypto market hasn't gone up by the end of 2019, I'm going to start buying art. The last like couple of months, I've been buying an obscene amount of art. I think I bought like 15 pieces of art last night. That's not even half joking. I saw the price and I was like, I don't even care. And I started buying it. What's really crazy is that it's mimicking exactly what happened in 2016 and 2017. I'm buying art the same exact way that I was buying art a couple of years ago because I was, what's the word? Annoyed that the markets hadn't kind of moved up. It's kind of like a mental thing. Like, I'm not like angry with Bitcoin, but it's more like yeah, sure, the market's going to go up eventually. But as of right now, let me start investing in other things. Like, I'm also looking at other real estate to invest in because I'm kind of like waiting for the cryptocurrency market to go up. But then what ended up happening was that by the end of middle of 2017, I was angry with myself because I had put so much money into art as opposed to putting it directly into crypto. I assure you, by July, if we have a $12,000 or $13,000 Bitcoin, I'm going to have a lot of annoyed days with myself. I'm going to be like, why did I spend that money putting it into art when I could have put it into crypto? It's the exact same thing is happening. This is the really weird part. Like, I can't really put it into better words except for all of that. It's mimicking the exact same way. Everything. People contacting me, people wanting to put their money to the market. And a large part of it could also be because the stock market's also going down, but it doesn't feel that way. Like, it doesn't feel like a, let me invest because the market is going down. It's kind of like this really weird wave in the air that I can't really explain. If we enter a situation, because remember 2017, we were filled with news articles. If you had put $100 into Bitcoin in this year, you would have this much right now. So imagine if we end up hitting a $45,000 Bitcoin, a $68,000 Bitcoin, a $2,200 Ethereum, or a $4 XRP. We're going to start getting those articles again from Forbes, from Bloomberg, from Morningstar, from CNBC, from all these other places. We already have tons of people on these channels talking about crypto every single day. Imagine hearing from someone. This is always the kicker. If you had put $1,000 into Bitcoin at this time, you'd have about $32,000. Even better, if you had put that money into XRP, you'd have about $128,000. That causes people to rush towards the market because it's a very psychological thing, especially if you don't have money, or even if you do have money. I'll give you both sides. If you don't have money and you hear that there was an opportunity for you to make tons of money about a year ago and you realize that you missed it, you jump into the market dramatically, FOMO, because you want to make the same exact money that you thought that you found that you could have made before. It's a very, very powerful thing. It's what got me into the cryptocurrency space in the first place. Hearing in 2012, 2013, that if I had put $100 into Bitcoin, I would have $1.7 million is a huge shock to the system. It rattles you to your core because you immediately think, what I could have done with that $1.7 million. It shakes you. You feel a ghost shaking you and rattling you because you're like, oh my gosh, my life would be completely different. On the other side, you have people who already have money and they go, oh, that's absolutely insane. Like, and then you see like the prospects of where this money could also potentially go. Especially, listen to this. Once we get to a $50,000 Bitcoin, the news is going to start to float around of exactly the other price predictions. If that guy's stock to flow plan B, if any of his charts end up coming true, and they're also very similar to the other people's charts as well, if we end up getting to a $50,000 Bitcoin, bam, we actually hit it on certain dates, certain months, certain time periods, all these other people we're talking about, they're going to have these people either through voice or actually in their studios to talk about all of these things that are happening. And they're going to be like, yeah, our charts also show us that by the year 2028, Bitcoin will be 1.2 million. That's going to set off the entire world. Why? Because everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants that title. Everybody wants to know that they have enough money, that they are safe, that they are secure, that they can do whatever they want in their life. You can buy property, you can get that the rental income from it, and you can go live and drink a Mai Tai somewhere on the beach. Everyone wants it. Don't lie to yourself and say that you don't. It's just a thing. It's how the world is. It's how money is. You know, I don't have to explain money to you. You're all adults. The point is, this is going to be absolutely insane. Even just historically, that we've seen the other halving cause these major bull runs within the cryptocurrency market. The amount of momentum that we've been getting the last couple of months, the energy that we've been feeling in the air, especially as Bitcoin dropped to 3,200 and popped back up, that does a lot psychologically for a lot of people. It lets you know, okay, Bitcoin didn't drop to 1,000. Bitcoin propped back up within a couple of minutes back to where it was before. Like, the momentum is there, the energy is there. Did I tell you what was I don't think I even, what am I talking about? I don't remember anymore. The point is, I'm like very warm. Like, I feel like I think I've been flailing so much in the room. Like, I feel like I've been working out. I'm all gross. Anyway, I mean, it's here. Like, we are so close to it. It's just a matter of the actual event happening. So many good, I mean, I was gonna say so many good things happening this year. I mean, you know, there was, I like to think optimistically about the future because it's the only way to kind of stay sane in all of this. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even have to read any more of what this guy was saying. Like, you really get it. We are at the beginning of something monumental. If Bitcoin passes by $20,000 again, that's it. Everyone's going to completely lose their mind and try and start buying as much as possible in anticipation of a further move up. 50,000, it's game over. Like, there will be nothing that will be able to stop Bitcoin ever again. Like, the name Bitcoin will become synonymous. Even if we hit 50,000 and drop back down to a $14,000, $15,000, $17,000, $18,000 Bitcoin and stay there for 2 years, Bitcoin will still be synonymous with this $1 trillion market cap. And the amount of big players that will come out in support of Bitcoin are talking about that they're also going to be accumulating Bitcoin at 18,000 is going to blow people's minds. And even more so, I'm excited for not only Bitcoin hitting these astronomical numbers, but falling back down. Because that's always the point where the people who are the naysayers come out and go, yeah, I mean, we've all seen Bitcoin have a tumultuous year. And you sit there and you go, you're the same exact person when Bitcoin hit $10 and fell down to $2. You also said Bitcoin was going to 0. You have no idea what you're talking about. Why are you even trying to be inside the cryptocurrency space? Just go somewhere else. No one cares about you. Go. Leave. The point is, I'm excited if you couldn't tell. I feel like something is brewing. Not even brewing. Like, I think it's just broth at this point. It just yeah. Everyone's charts are saying the exact same thing. Everyone's coming to the exact same conclusions. And even if it takes us a couple of months after the halving for this to all be realized, is also just going to be nuts. Anyway, that's that news. I already forgot half of the stuff I was saying. Well, I'm out of breath. All right. Let's move on. Wow, like actually out of breath. In an interview from the 25th of April, Andreas Antonopoulos compared working with Chainalysis to working with a weapons manufacturer or a company that builds cages for concentration camps. Andreas Antonopoulos, perhaps the best known Bitcoin educator, had very harsh words for companies like Chainalysis that help to de-anonymize, I said it, yay! That help to de-anonymize Bitcoin transactions. For those of you who don't know what Chainalysis is, they are a company that analyzes things that happen on chain. I didn't mean to be cynical or, funny, but I mean, like, really, they are a company that their entire purpose is to give governments blockchain data to kind of show what's happening on the chains, because we know that transactions can be tracked on cryptocurrency blockchains, especially on Bitcoin. A lot of other ones, not so much. But it's more like if you make yourself known to a certain address, they can trace things around to figure out exactly where all these things are happening. However, some of the stuff that they've been doing or have been accused of have been quite questionable. He said companies like Chainalysis and others are basically in an arms race against privacy. And what they're doing is they're providing the world's worst dictators and regimes, either directly or indirectly, with information that violates the civil rights of millions, if not billions, of people. He also added that in his opinion, it is immoral to work for such a company. From what I just said up there, Jonathan Levin, Chainalysis co-founder and chief strategy officer, in a statement to Cointelegraph, responded to the criticism. Referring to a case reported earlier, he said, while U.S. agencies represent many of our governmental customers, we also work with other government agencies across the world. This is especially beneficial when law enforcement agencies from multiple countries work together, much like they did on the welcome to, I don't know what that is. We have policies and procedures in place that help us determine which governments we work with. And as a general rule, Chainalysis does not work with the dictatorial governments. So, yeah, their entire purpose is that they believe, which is also a little insane. Why would you think that you have the right to be able to look through other people's transactions and then give that information that belongs to someone else to someone else? It's kind of weird. Usually, the information is touted as we use said information that we give to government agencies or to whomever they might be giving it to as a way to stop criminals, as a way to stop so-and-so, but that's generally also not true, because you gather all this information and you kind of give a blanket information on everyone who's been using these blockchains, and then you hand over the information to other people, kind of like well, this is totally fine. Like, that's a problem. Like, why are you as a company, like, why should you decide whose information gets gathered up and swept up into this database that again then gets sent to someone else? Why? In the same interview, Antonopoulos admitted that Bitcoin's original design was flawed in terms of privacy protection, and that it has been slow to address them because of its inherent conservatism. He said Bitcoin is fundamentally the most conservative system out there because it's intended to be extremely robust and secure and able to resist attacks by collusion or cooperation between nation-state level actors. Fortunately, there are a number of technologies that are likely to make that much better. One of them is a series of changes that are being introduced to Bitcoin now. They are Schnorr signatures, tap roots, and tape script. These are a whole bunch of things that are meant to obfuscate transactions and or kind of, it's not like sharding, but it's meant to kind of make it so that the information isn't kind of all there until the end of the transaction ends up taking place. And also just the actual sending and receiving of Bitcoin is also a bit kind of mixed up, if you will, so that you can't really tell where the transactions are going. Over the next couple of years, I give it 5 years, we're going to have a lot of implementations and side chains that are going to be using this type of technology, and it is expected. I think even by now it was expected to happen, but these things are slowly being rolled out. We spoke about that before. It's expected within the next 10 years, it will be complete private transactions on the Bitcoin network. Imagine a world where Bitcoin is nearing $500,000 per coin, if not $1.2 million per coin, and there are private transactions on that blockchain. What a time to be alive. Yes. The point is, a lot of other people within the cryptocurrency space have been coming out, I guess, in opposition of, criticizing to Chainalysis. Yeah, it's you know what I want to say. You know what I am thinking. A lot of you probably think the exact same way. It's very weird. It's one thing to actually go after the criminals and the people who are doing the worst in the world. But we all know that money talks. So at some point, if you have someone who gives you enough money to say, hey, we know about 30,000 people in the country who are using this. Tell us exactly what they're doing. Here's $3 million. Yeah, okay, well, I mean, I guess we have to help if it's for the greater good. That's how things work. So these companies will continue to pop up. We just know that it's going to happen. It's just going to be a thing. However, just also look forward. Just know that on the other side, there's also going to be I don't want to use the word resistance. That's a bit too strong. Private transactions are going to be a thing. I think even by the end of this year, we're supposed to have private transactions on Litecoin, which is, I think, testnet-like for what's going to be implemented on top of Bitcoin. Yeah, crazy, right? Nope. Okay, let's move on. And to finish things off, Uphold, a digital money platform providing access to investments and payments using blockchain technology, has announced the expansion of its stablecoin offerings alongside the launch of a stablecoin center. Well, that's nice of them. The center, according to the announcement, will offer access to 6 stablecoins in the platform, including 4 of the most popular. They're going to be Tether, TrueUSD, USD Coin, and DAI, D-A-I. Uphold has added coins from the Universal Protocol Alliance, such as UPSD, UPUSD, and UPER, UPEUR. Writing to Cointelegraph, Uphold CEO JP Theroit praised the recent addition of stablecoins. He said stablecoins are inherently less volatile than cryptos, because they're, of course, pegged one-to-one to safe haven currencies like the USD and are quickly being adopted by central banks around the world. According to that person, the goal of the new stablecoin center is to allow people to transfer value between stablecoins. Here's a really good one. Between traditional banking networks and crypto markets, he said, stablecoins are being used, so and so, blah 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 blah. High interest rates, blah, blah, blah. This is what I thought was the most fascinating out of all of this. We have thus far, if you've been here every day, not had any specific news that central banks are using stablecoins. We know that they are in talks to create and or use central bank digital currencies, but thus far we've had no actual information that they are apparently expressly using stablecoins as a means to potentially send value back and forth around the world. So I like when these little slip-ups happen, because no central bank has come out saying that they're using stablecoins, but now apparently, according to Uphold, we know that they are behind the scenes. Anyway, yeah, this was also kind of all over the place. I get stablecoins, but stablecoin news, it's usually all over the place. I don't know if it's the indication that it could potentially cause a movement upwards in the cryptocurrency market, or I don't know. Anyway, yeah, yay, Uphold. I was hoping they would add new stablecoins, because, you know, when I transact in value, stablecoins are exactly what I think of first. But yeah, this is awkward. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. I need a new phone there. Wait, there we go. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Yasha Harari, Moonman High XRP, The Pothead, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Chongololo, Songololo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohamaroni, Mass Adventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroad Network, Adobo, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Nicholas from Earth, One Piece, One Love, Damien Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes, 2 Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monks Runner Staff, Arfmedic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigera Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and hold on, I have to sneeze. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel, and thank you to everyone who has been using the affiliate links. You're all incredible, incredible people, and I give you a big digital hug. At the moment, much of the market's in green. Bitcoin is currently up by 2.75%. It's sitting at 7,927 US dollars. It is trying desperately to hit $8,000. Ethereum is currently up. You see these ramp movements. It's nuts. Ethereum is currently up by 5.31%. It is over $200, which we were talking about was a huge level of resistance for quite a couple of days, if not weeks. We are over $205 right now. Let's see if that is going to continue. If we see any type of movement by the end of this week to around $215, well, then we probably know where it's trying to go. XRP is up by 8.3%. Like I said at the beginning of the video, no real indication as to why. It could be that behind the scenes, something is happening, some new partnership happened. maybe some company is actively buying on the open market, because the news that we had before from Ripple was that if anyone wants to buy XRP, they now have to do so on the open market. So maybe a new partnership was happening, confirmed, something took place that we simply just don't know about right now. And therefore, they're buying up in anticipation for having to use the actual coin. Litecoin is up by 4%. Tezos is actually down, which is kind of surprising. I don't know if it's just the momentum for the higher coins is kind of getting more attention. But yeah, it is quite fascinating to see all of this taking place. I mean, I don't think I can give any more energy than I've already done. Like, I feel wiped out after this video. I'm so energized with everything that's going to be taking place. It's a bit much for my brain. I think there are good times ahead. I cannot promise if there are good times ahead because I, don't know the future. However, all the news that we've been getting the last couple of weeks has been more than an energy boost, if you kind of want to say that. I do hope that you all have enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.